Hello and welcome to DNQ Football. This is one of our longer form episodes where we run through, and if you wait till the end of the video you'll realise why I've really enunciated, run through the stuff that has slipped through the cracks of the videos that we've covered recently. It's one of those things with what we do, it's quite cyclical in nature. We have a couple of months where you don't hear from us that much. We want to get a little bit better at that with some new ideas that we have. And indeed, when there's not international football, sometimes the motivation drops a little bit, and then something like June comes along, Ryan, and it blows us out of the water a little bit. We've been spoiled right across the globe, really, in this international break. We've tried to keep up with it as much as possible. I counted, I can't even remember, including shorts, I think in the first 10 days of June we'd done sort of 13 videos in that period of time or something across the board. So we've been super busy and there's loads of stuff for you to get your teeth into. But this is one of us where we take back, we relax for a little bit. It's a little bit longer, it's a little bit more chatty. We talk about the stuff that we haven't spoken about in specific videos, some of the stuff that's coming up across the next few months as well, because there is plenty. Ryan, firstly,
there is,
and most importantly, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm not too bad at all. Good intro. I think every time we've done a video like this, you've introduced it saying, this is one of our longer form episodes. But yeah, good to be back. And as I've said, and I think I open each of these kind of videos with the same sort of comment where I say, actually, these are probably the videos I prefer most to do because it's you and me just chatting and chin wagging through. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned there how we try and keep things ticking along when there's not much international football. The motivation can be a little bit, it can wane a touch, can't it? Just when there's not much kind of immediate content that's just slapping you in the face. When we say immediate content, like brilliantly sensational tournaments and fixtures and results happening. Yeah, you know, and as we've already said, we've both got full-time jobs and we have those and we have sort of lives that we have to do as well, obviously. Now I'm fine, mate. I've got my cup of tea.
It's good. I've
got my biscuit. What about yourself? How are you? What's the headlines this week? What's the before we dive into the footy, what's
well, the tash is sort of digesting itself back into the rest of the beard, which is coming through now. If you watch some of the videos earlier around the 17th, 16th, 17th of June, some of the videos that you'll see, I'm a bit more full on with the tash. I think it's at a good point in the minute where it's reevaluating itself. I think across June as well, if you watch back some of our old videos, I've had 3 or 4 different hairstyles in that time as well, which is always
you
good.
Did.
Won't be long before I buzz cut it again. As is the cyclical nature of me.
You've used the word cyclical. You've used the word cyclical twice now in the opening 5 minutes. Is fair enough. I've never heard you use that word ever before.
I wonder how many times I can get it in.
The tash was, we had a golf day, didn't we? Last Saturday, and it was a festival theme. And my goodness, I don't know if you can just stick one of the photos of you on that golf day just on this video right now, just for people to get a little bit of context. But your outfit, you won best outfit.
I did. If only I was good at golf.
Tash. Yeah, I mean, but who really cares when the tash looked that good on the day, mate? If we're being honest. Yeah. So yeah, tash is popping. I love the way that you sort of said that it's digested itself back in. Really nice. For me, mate, I'm just bloody happy that it's Friday. It's hot. I've got the fan going, keep me cool. Week's not been too bad. Best bit for me was I bought a new bit of lounge furniture, a new TV stand from a charity shop. Guess how much it cost me?
I'm gonna go with £5.
Oh, okay, fine.
More,
what? No, obviously, yeah, you've killed me here. It was £12, but okay, it's you were meant to go 30 quid, and I was going to slap you with an incredible £12.
You said charity shop first. I was always going to lowball that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So that was a win. Anyway, it's turned out it looks good. Buzzing with that. 12 quid well spent. And worst bit of the week was when I went to London on Thursday. So when I go to London, take bits and bobs up there, and because it's a long day, I take a toiletries bag, give my teeth a clean after a morning coffee before I walk into the office. Otherwise, you just smash people in the face with coffee breath. Horrendous.
Yeah.
So The toilet is basically, long story short, as I was going to go and as I was getting my toothbrush out to clean my teeth, I dropped it in the toilet.
Oh goodness!
Dropped my toothbrush in the toilet.
In a public toilet?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Fished it out and cleaned my teeth. No, I didn't.
Surely not. Surely not.
No, I didn't. But I just stood there. But you know when you have this half a second. I was like, oh, fuck's sake.
So just to clarify, sorry, you were still in the cubicle when you got your toothbrush out. You didn't think I'm going to go to. Then how did it fall in the?
No, I will explain. I will explain. No, I will explain. Sorry, yeah. Extra context required. So, on my walk to the office, quite close, is a really nice shopping centre, and in that shopping centre is really large and decent disabled toilets where it's ideal, shall we say, after a morning coffee to visit there before then going to work. And I use that time to then...
It's an all-in-one scenario.
Absolutely, yeah. So absolutely. So I'll reapply a little bit of deodorant. It's a 2-hour journey, right? So, and then after I've had coffee and a bagel, I like a bagel in the morning, I'll clean my teeth. And you can see how this now takes shape, right? Sink is near toilet. Got my toothbrush out, dropped it, and it bounced in the toilet.
That's niche. I mean that.
Yeah. It's like the bloke with the bath, isn't it?
Yes, there's always a strange story.
Strange things happen to strange people. Now, before we get into the football, I know we've been talking a lot about just utter nonsense at the start of this, but one thing that I wanted to address was, oh god, and I haven't got it prepped with the names, but anyone that is watching this and watched that video will know.
Or the green bath.
The green bath. We at the end of one of our videos, we said, if anyone has made it this far, comment green bath, and we will sort you out with a freebie bit of DNQ. I think we'll do DNQ. We want to get some DNQ mugs again, don't we? Yeah. Now, I really want to stress that we haven't forgot about that, have we?
No, we have not.
We've just been ridiculously slack on sorting it out. Give us a couple of weeks, and what we will do is anyone that they're watching, the 10 people, if they have returned and are watching, they'll know who they are. We will be reaching out to you separately to sort that when we have got it sorted. So just remain patient with us. Should we get onto the football now, mate? Because I've been talking utter drivel for the last 5 minutes.
I mean, if anyone is still here and watching, then of course, thank you for getting to this point. But let's talk some footy. Let's get into it. We've spoken a lot about football on the continent of Asia this month. There's been lots of fantastic tournaments, friendly matches, slightly less friendly tournaments, as we've seen the SAF Championship kick off. India's manager got sent off against Pakistan. I don't know if you know this.
I didn't know that. Obviously, I saw the result and all of the score. Why did he get sent off?
Pakistan. By the way, I'm pretty sure it was 2-0 at this time, 2-0 or 3-0.
What's the point?
I don't think it's a bad result for Pakistan. By the way, India are comfortably better than Pakistan. Pakistan arrived a few hours before the game. All in all, 4-0. It's fair enough. It's good for India. It's not too bad for Pakistan. It was 2 or 3-0. Pakistan had a throw in. Went to take it quickly. Igor Stimac just grabs the ball and stops. And then obviously there was a kerfuffle and he gets sent off. So high drama in Asia. And,
that feels unnecessary, doesn't it? You know, when you see stuff like that, it's like, mate, you're cruising in this game. These guys are absolutely shit. I just got off a plane. You're like, you're clearly going on to win this game. Why are you? Do you know what that reminds me of? Yeah, but can you remember when Fulham imploded in that FA Cup game?
Yes.
And then Marco Silva, stuff like that. Do
you remember when Alan Pardew headbutted someone?
Yeah, he was manager of Newcastle at the time, and he headbutted David Myler, who was playing for Hull, I think.
Yeah.
Headbutted it.
These strange things that stay with you. Odd.
Yeah.
Anyway, but staying in Asia, there's a tournament we've not covered too much throughout this international break, and I believe it's because, and we've had a few comments about it, I believe the quality of teams has been a little bit too good in the CAFA Nations Cup, the Central Asian Football Association Cup, and I believe this is kind of brought home by the final and the teams that have won it. Iran won the tournament. They beat Uzbekistan in the final, and Azmoun with the goal. He plays for Bayer Leverkusen. Iran get to World Cups on a very regular basis. Uzbekistan are a solid team. And I always like to, a little bit mentally, go off of FIFA star ratings on old World Cup games when we talk about.
Yeah, I like that.
When we talk about these teams, and it's like, is a tournament a little bit too good? I couldn't see a team. All right, Oman were in it, and I think on the last PES game they were a 1-star. But they're better. I mean, Uzbekistan, they're a solid 2.5 star on FIFA games. And Iran, I believe, got up to 3.5 star at one point. It's fantastic to see this tournament played. CAFA, as a region, probably doesn't play enough football competitively against each other, and so it's fantastic to see these sides compete. And we had a comment as well saying that there's chances, as we spoke about Pakistan potentially moving over to CAFA. There's comments around whether or not Mongolia might also move to CAFA to play more games.
If they enter this tournament, mate, they just get battered. Those teams, though.
They would, yeah.
Like, I'm looking at Iran. Like, Taremi scored 2 hat-tricks in both the group games against Kyrgyzstan and Afghanistan. Like, what benefit is that? Look, they play the games, you know. It is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, it'd be interesting about that. The whole Mongolia, Pakistan entering. I mean, look, maybe they'd have qualification rounds before the main tournament, but you just think that Iran would comfortably kind of run out winners. I know they beat Uzbekistan only 1-0 in the final, but it feels like there's quite a gap there, don't you know? Uzbekistan and Iran, and them.
I think this is potentially a bit of a challenge for Asian football internationally as a whole. I really see it as about 3 tiers. I think you've got the really good teams. I'm going to go just to name a few. The sides that get to the World Cups, right? South Korea, Australia, Iran, Saudi Arabia have shown themselves to be that step above recently, like Japan as well. But there you go. There's 5 top teams from Asia. Then you've got a really good middle section that I would say stretches from teams like Lebanon and Oman and teams like that through to sides like
You're doing
Malaysia.
this off the cuff, aren't you?
Yeah. Sides like Malaysia, though, like good solid teams. Anyone kind of in that bracket. And then just missing out on that, you've got a couple of teams that sit in between, teams like Singapore. But then there is a huge flurry of quite poor sides that don't get to play each other that much. It's like the SAF Championships is good, but with the way that the groups go, it's like, Bangladesh and Maldives and these sort of teams, they don't play each other that much. Sri Lanka are obviously banned, but you know what I mean? I just feel like a lot of the time in these tournaments, as we spoke about with the SAF Championship, there's only 2 teams that are really two out of push 3 teams that have got any real chance of reaching the final. And there's never that many big upsets. And also AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup. That Vietnam and Thailand are going to get to at least the semi-finals. Cambodia turn up in it's great if they get a draw.
That's the challenge, isn't it? Yeah. That's the challenge with those kind of more regional tournaments, CAFA and AFF, and SAF Champs, which is also going on at the moment. But, mate, I guess the argument is if they don't participate, how are they ever going to improve if they don't take part? So it's tough, I know what you mean. I think CAFA, though, just looking at that, is that like the first time that tournament's ever taken place? I couldn't see much. Maybe it's the second edition.
Yeah, I was going to say, let people let us know, because I thought it was the
I couldn't see much else about it. Yeah. But I'm not sure if that's one for our channel, mate. I feel like there's the teams there are a bit almost too good for us to kind of maybe acknowledge like we have done here. But going off your thing there, SAF Champs, we did a video on it on the preview, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, it started almost so predictably, isn't it? In the way that we chatted, that we thought it would be India, Kuwait in Group A that would probably go through, Lebanon, Maldives in Group B, and they've all got off to winning starts, haven't they?
Yeah, there's someone in the comments of that video that predicted basically the whole tournament, including score lines, and their prediction was Kuwait to beat Nepal 3-1 and India to beat Pakistan 5-0. And it's like fantastic for that person's prediction, like to get it that close, one goal out across 2 games. And whilst that's fantastic and the prediction's great, there is an element of it is very predictable. I mean that's fantastic. That's next level predictions, but. And I think it's tough, and that's why sometimes I don't like it when, like, World Cup qualification, the teams at the lower rankings get cut out quite quickly and don't play that many games. Like, I think it's been improved by some of the format changes now, but there's been loads of stuff in Asia and in CONCACAF as well, where teams just play a head-to-head, and like a lot of the smaller teams, it's improving, right, with the addition of Nations League and these smaller tournaments, because you've not got to go back too far, and we do still see it. These teams just don't play enough games to improve.
I think it's definitely improving, though.
It is improving
because I think you used to have a lot of double leggers, and you'd lose a lot of them. I mean, as you said, mate, wind the clock back not too long ago, and some of the only games that these nations would play would be World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
Round one, they'd play a double legger, they'd lose, and then that would be it for another 4 years. That I don't think we have too much of that situation anymore. I think across from CONCACAF to AFC. CAF may be slightly different, actually, because I know that they still do that opener, that lowest ranked doubleheader. Anyway, besides the point. But going back to SAF Champs quickly before we square off Asia stuff. Predictably predictable, but another hat-trick for Chetri. It must be what you've got to touch on that. 90 goals now. 90 goals in 138, which was kind of mad.
I think he'll want to reach a ton and then bow out.
Yeah.
I think he'll want to get to 100 before he goes, because then that puts you up there, doesn't it? That's that 3 figures.
10 to go, mate. He could do it. He could do it in this tournament.
Yeah, he could.
If he absolutely bangs, that would be some achievement that way.
But not only have we seen sort of some of these smaller Asian tournaments, we've seen teams from different regions, different parts of the world, travelling to Asia for games, and we've spoken about it with some of the OFC sides. But let's not forget that Argentina also travelled over. Indonesia played Palestine and Argentina in this international break, and performed pretty admirably. They drew 0-0 with Palestine, and then they actually only lost 2-0 to Argentina. Which is very impressive. And listen, all right, you didn't have Messi there, but we're still talking Garnacho, Lo Celso, Alvarez. It was
Paredes,
yeah,
Molina, Romero.
Close to a full team, give or take a couple of players. And Indonesia performed pretty well. There's quite a good video actually of I believe it's Asnawi. Garnacho's going at him in a one-on-one, and he makes a great challenge. And then goes to clear the ball away, and Garnacho's clearly not happy about it and dives in quite badly.
Oh, I have seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that on Twitter. Yeah, I wondered what that was. I didn't realise they were playing this fixture until I saw some of the stuff on Twitter, and then did some extra. I think I saw some of the comments on one of our video, and I thought, what the heck is that? And Garnacho didn't think he took a little bit of offence. No, it's kind of mad though, isn't it? If you think about it, like we're talking about the international break now. We're lucky that there's such a great one here. Some of these players must be absolutely knackered at the end of this season. Like, I mean, they play for like 11 out of the 12 months, mate.
Well, it is at this point now, and whilst because Jurgen Klopp said this before about players like not getting a break, and like they need a bit of time off and stuff, and everyone goes, oh yeah, well that's you just want it so Liverpool win. And whilst I don't agree with everything he says, it is tough when you see. I know these are elite athletes in a lot of places, but like still they've had like the season just doesn't end. So I think now more than ever, if you get a serious injury, which is more likely because there's more games, you miss even more than you did before. So yeah, I mean, what a time for football fans. But you look at it, it's momentum.
Just going back to that game. And I got onto that because obviously Garnacho, I think he had some periods out, to be fair, during the season for United. But he's a Premier League player, and the intensity of like the European season, and then to go straight from Manchester over to Indonesia to play. You just think of all of that. I'm just looking at the team with Indonesia. You do think that with Baggett, and also they've got Jordi Amat, ex-Swansea in there, which I know we've spoken about on the channel before about how he's recently changed from sort of Spanish. I know he's played for Catalonia and stuff in the past to play for Indonesia. He's playing in Malaysia now, actually, but he's been playing in Europe. He was at Belgian side Eupen as recently as 2022. He's a very, very solid, experienced defender. You think him and Baggett, and I think they went 5 at the back. They went.
Yeah, and they've got
Argentina.
I'm not sure if I know obviously Asnawi. I'm not sure if Pratama Arhan played on the other side as well. It's like they've got they've got a few players from overseas, but they also do have quite a good collection of players, that are born and raised in the country as well, and are really kind of talented in the way that their manager's got them playing. They're a really good team. They're a very entertaining team to watch as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a very, very good couple of results then. What have they got coming up next?
Well, I think what I've seen from them next is just
got
Asian Cup.
Asian Cup. They'll have some friendlies before that, I'm sure.
I'm sure they'll try and get some stuff in the September and October and maybe even November international breaks that they've got coming up. But I don't know what the domestic season's like out there because it's different. So I'm not sure, because we had a few comments on the video about Malaysia when we were talking about stuff that the JDT players aren't allowed to play certain games for Malaysia, which is why they do well in certain games and not in others, because they lose Corbin Ong, they lose Matthew Davies, they lose other players as well, because it doesn't all the international window is very European geared.
So it might not fit into when they have like AFC Champions League games or something like that. Yeah. Do you know? Just last one on Geordie Amat. He played 73 times for Swansea.
Random.
73 times for Swansea. Yeah, that's really strange, isn't it? 9 times in the Europa League in 2013-14. There you go.
Rogue. But
who knew?
So
where do you want to go to now, mate? Where do you want to go to now?
Let's continue travelling around the world and touch very briefly on OFC, because OFC Olympic qualification starts in August. So there is football in the Olympics, and one nation from the region gets to participate in that.
I didn't know this.
I didn't know this either. And so they have a little tournament about it, which is great. And New Zealand, American Samoa, PNG and Fiji are in Group A. Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Samoa and Tonga are in Group B.
Are there like stipulations that you have to have X number of your squad under 23? Because don't they do that for the Olympics?
I don't know if they always do it, but New Zealand last time they did this, and in the Pacific Games as well, New Zealand tend to play their under 23s. I don't know
if anyone knows details on that, throw something.
I don't
throw a
know
comment down.
You may have to. I don't know. I mean, with a lot of these teams, a fair few of them are kind of young players anyway. But it will be exciting in some capacity to particularly see Sam, Samoa, and Tonga play as well. Sides who haven't.
Hamiloto Polovilli.
Yeah, Polovilli should be there. This man won't be. Savietti, but what a player he was.
Stick that in the bin, mate.
I do stick that. I do need to get rid of it. If anyone wants to buy it, no, I'm joking. But yeah, so that starts in August. It runs from, let me just double check, but I believe it's end of August into the start of September.
But there will be football in the OFC region, not sort of...
Yeah, 27th of August into September.
Not kind of sort of fully fledged international fixtures as you and I would, but hey, mate, we take it. We take it. Still
we take everything that we can get with OFC. But yeah, which is fantastic. So let's move on quickly from OFC, because we've done loads of videos on the friendlies and stuff that the sides have had, and let's take a trip over to Africa, where again lots of sides have been playing some very interesting friendly matches. Mauritius hosted the Four Nations. CASAFA Cup will be soon. I'm not going to touch too much on the CASAFA Cup today, because we'll do a preview for that 5th to the 16th of July.
It's more AFCON quals though, isn't it? That's been going on.
Yeah, AFCON quals is what's really been the kind of main focus, apart from a few other friendlies. Are there any particular games in AFCON quals that took you by surprise or caught your eye?
I mean, not really. The Gambia victory against South Sudan, the 3-2. We spoke about that before. It's the importance of the game and how Congo would need to lose to, we had a bit of a Gambia slant, didn't we, to be fair, mate? Congo needed to lose to Mali, and those results went as so. So you've got the big one, Gambia Congo, coming up in the September break. What else have we got here? I only kept tabs on that game, really, Matt. I haven't really sort of seen much else.
Namibia Burundi was a big one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you've got the whole, any of them can still
Cameroon
go out, can't they?
Cameroon go out with a loss or a draw that's greater than... Oh no, Cameroon go out with a loss. Namibia will go out if it's a 3-3 draw or more.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a mad bit of maths calcs.
The tiebreaker scenario, because head-to-heads will all be even because of the result. Yeah, it will come down to the last game. I don't want to be a pessimist. I think that Cameroon will probably win, and so Burundi would go out and Namibia would go through. But it would be entertaining if that game was a draw, and then depending on the scoreline, if it was
surely Cameroon aren't going out. Surely Cameroon aren't going out in that group of 3 where 2 go through with Burundi and Namibia. Surely not.
It would be great though.
It would be stunning. I cannot see that happening, mate. If it does, then I don't even know.
Sierra Leone though, they're also out.
Yeah, they are. They did well last time, but they've crashed out. Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So
qualified alongside Nigeria. They could still top the group there, will they? They won't care. They're qualified anyway. Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Togo miss out. Eswatini haven't popped like we hoped.
No, they got a tough draw.
They did.
They were my pick very early on for the kind of next Comoros or even Gambia that could come through. I just think they're probably a little bit further off that. Equatorial Guinea have done well there.
They're back,
which is good to see.
At the moment, they're ahead of Tunisia, but again, they won't care, will they? There.
No, they've done it. So, but yeah, just really the main focus is, from our perspective anyway, that Gambia group. There's a very, very big game between Gambia and Congo in September, and of course, all the AFCON groups are decided in the September break. But a lot of them already done. I think the Leone Stars missing out was a bit of a disappointment for them. A few lapse results earlier on in the group stages meant that I think they went into a game needing to beat Nigeria or something, which
do you know Group I? There's 1 game to go, and all 4 teams can still qualify.
That's what we want to see. That's kind of rare in our
Mauritania, DR Congo, Gabon, and Sudan. 8 points, 7, and 6. That's the 4 teams there. How many points they've got?
Mauritania looking to go strong, aren't they?
They've got their final games against Gabon, so
they've got a chance then.
Yeah,
as much of a chance as anyone. So DR Congo plays Sudan.
They do. They do indeed. That Utara that's at Bournemouth, I didn't know he was from Burkina Faso. He's doing well. He scored quite a few goals in qualifiers. 4 goals.
They're a solid team, Burkina Faso. It would happen. They've always been around that 2.5 star level that I spoke about earlier.
About 2.5 star. Yeah. They should just scrap FIFA ranking system and just start and just adopt the.
They should do. I agree. Yeah.
Just adopt the sort of half star to 5 star as you.
And then you could do the half star World Cup, which is what everybody really wants to see. Africa does I'd argue have an even more challenging thing with the fact that there is a collection of teams that are just way off the pace. Then there's a whole bunch of mid-range teams, and then a handful of really good ones.
I think you see that with we spoke about this again before about how the teams that make it to AFCON, it does change. You do have a core group. You do have a core group that will be there most times, but you're not guaranteed to even get there, let alone make the quarter-final kind of thing. It's which gives it that really interesting element, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And whilst that's going on, CASAFA Cup starting soon as well. Excited to get into that as football moves into July also, which is.
When does that kick off? Sorry, CASAFA Cup.
5th of July.
Jesus God! But again, you think goodness me, these players. When do they get?
The football never ends.
The football that will never end. What's that?
Mitchell and Webb.
That's it.
Yeah.
Watch it move. The football.
Who will win the football? It's a good skit, actually.
Never ending football. It is good, and I love it. This is good. The CASAFA Cup. Liking the look of this. Anyway, let's park it on that because we'll come back to that another time.
Let's continue to travel round the globe as we move swiftly past South America, which is a region that we don't talk about very often at all, and move up to CONCACAF because the Gold Cup starts soon. We'll do a couple of videos on that throughout the tournament. We'll be focusing on one team, if we're honest, and that one team is St Kitts and Nevis, who made history, making it.
Yeah.
To be honest, against all odds, they got promoted from League C in the Nations League. Too good to be in League C. That's a fair enough statement. They're one of those mid-range League B sides, I'd say. But was it all tactical to give them a shot at the Gold Cup?
Hey,
Well,
could have been.
They've succeeded because despite being up against it, two penalties wins see them into the Gold Cup. Quite insane, really.
Mate, amazing. I'd say this and a couple of others. It's interesting that the way that we've gone through, we've done CONCACAF and then UEFA right at the end, where, in my opinion, there's two of the more interesting stories, or at least the collection of the more interesting notes, or the things that I've mainly taken away from this break. St Kitts and Nevis making the Gold Cup for the first time in their history is ridiculously good. The 1-1 draw against Curacao, late leveler, and then the penalties win was fucking amazing. The French Guyana game was a bit more balanced, and then again the penalties victory. I saw that across those two games they faced 9 penalties and only 4 of them went in. So a massive shout out to the St Kitts and Nevis goalkeeper Jelani Archibald for a few good saves. The commentary when they won, I can't remember the guy that scored the winning penalty. It was Lewis for St Kitts and Nevis. He scored the winning penalty. And the commentator just went, "He scored! It's so sweet for the Sugar Boys!" And you're like, yes, mate, absolutely class. Yeah, really good. So, yeah, amazing story. I mean, look, tough group for them now. Trinidad,
very tough.
USA and Jamaica, but for them, go there, enjoy it. What a feeling, what an achievement. And I was buzzing when I saw that, actually. I think I just woke up and checked Twitter, and it was... You saw that kind of all over the feed, which was amazing. Really random, actually, just because I mentioned Trinidad. I saw something on Twitter earlier that they have, for the Gold Cup, they've changed their kit manufacturers, so they don't get their kits made by Bowl Football. It's Capelli now, which is quite a common, popular kit manufacturer in that region. And people are disappointed about how they've moved from Bowl, and the kits are not. They just don't bang like those Bowl Football like kits did. No.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say it's tough, because the Bowl Football.
I've actually got one here.
I was going to say you've got a TNT one, no?
I do.
One?
I've got it here. Yeah.
And if you just show that bit, that is sensational, isn't it? As a kit, that is absolutely sensational. When I've got the Montserrat one as well, which I've worn on a few videos. Absolutely sensational kits, and don't get me wrong, I quite like Capelli kits. They've done Guyanas in the past, and they're really clean kits. But moving away from Bowl Football, that's a tough call, actually. It's
the Capelli stuff. This has come a little bit of a kit chat, no issues. But the Capelli stuff's more templated, really. Yeah. So it's less, whereas Bowl is far more customised and sort of unique to the team. Anyway, randomly gone on to kits there, mate. But Gold Cups and kits, amazing, absolutely amazing. Who else qualified? It was Guadeloupe, Martinique, and was there any more?
Just three.
Just those three. Those three, yeah.
Just three.
So incredible. Looking forward to the Gold Cup. It kicks off in a couple of days' time, doesn't it? A day or two's time. So
it kicks off tomorrow, but that's not tomorrow for us. It's tomorrow. Well, today, as of when the video will go out. In different parts of the world, because it's tough with CONCACAF stuff. We either have got to stay up really late to watch it, or get up really early, depending on at what time the game's being played. But yeah, so both rounds of the prelims, I woke up to see the results coming through, which was cool. But hey, it may be the Turks and Caicos Islands next time.
We shall see. Also, another random CONCACAF item before we swiftly dart over to UEFA, is being a BVI fanboy. Luca Chilwell signed professional terms at Eastleigh. He's got a professional contract at Eastleigh now, and it's the first young youth player that they've had come through the program in the UK that's got a professional contract. So fair play to him and fair play to the BVI, and viva la BVI, and let's see how he gets on. But that's not too far from us, is it? So we might have to go down and. If he gets a first team spot, that'd be cool. Yeah. And the reason I know that, mate, is because this is so weird. I am connected to the technical director of the BVIFA, Dan Neville, on LinkedIn. And the reason that I'm connected with him is because when I was 13, 14 and 15, Dan Neville was a coach at AFC Bournemouth when I used to play as a schoolboy, and he was my coach. Strange, isn't it? Strange how it is. Yeah, it's bizarre though, isn't it? Stuff like that. We should try and get him on. Be good to chat to him, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've not done an interview for ages, actually, have we? Thinking about that, but
I believe the last one was Lloyd.
it
From
was,
Marshall
yeah.
Island, so.
That was a good one, though. You did a really good job with that.
Yeah, it was just me as well. I can't remember. The
Yeah,
last
I
one
could
we
get
did.
that. I could drop Dan a message. I think he'd probably be keen. He's always quite happy to talk about. Well, I've seen across his socials, he's always quite happy to talk about the project with the BVI and what he does each day and how it's unfolding. So let's get him on. I'll drop him a line.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that basically how we're kind of thinking of slightly rejigging our calendars is like when the international footy is on. We've typically put interviews, tried to weave interviews into that period as well, which doesn't really make much sense when really we should be doing the interviews when the international football isn't on, because there's not matches to speak about, but there's upcoming stuff. So July, August, and the start of September, hopefully we'll be able to get some more interviews for you all to sink your teeth into, metaphorically. Because there's loads of people. I'd love to speak to someone, one of the players from St Kitts as well. I think after the Gold Cup experience, it'd be great.
Yeah, that would be good. See what we can do, mate. See what we can do.
Yeah.
Should we dart over for our final stop on this?
Let's take a
review?
transatlantic flight over to Europe.
Yeah. Nice.
Shall we start in Bosnia?
We can start wherever you'd like, my friend.
Well, I say starting in Bosnia, but it's not Bosnia we're going to speak about. It's Luxembourg that we're going to speak about, because we tipped them in our preview to be a side that could be one of the outside teams to get there, and a lot of people in the comments of that video, a lot of the people commenting like,
Fantastic.
I think. Well, we said that they would win games in this group because they are a lot better than a minnow. And a 2-0 win over Bosnia in this international break. They've got 7 points in the group so far. They're right up there. They're competing. And they're looking like there's a chance. And it's not the best result that we've seen in this international break for a European side, as I'm sure you'll cover as well. But nonetheless, a great win for a very, very good team.
Yeah. It was Sanchez and Sinani with the goals for Luxembourg. They're currently ranked 91st in the rankings. So they're actually getting close to their highest ever, which is 82, which is because they could well surpass that. Bosnia are 57th. Both, they played a good side. Bosnia, Dzeko, Pjanic, they all played, and they just got beaten 2-0. Luxembourg had less of the ball, but just played into their hands. But there were some amazing results. Some of the headline stuff. But actually, before we get onto the main big one, just a couple of shout-outs. Gibraltar played 2 and lost 2, but only 3-0. Both times they lost to France 3-0. Giroud and Mbappe scored 2 of the 3 goals there for France. And then they lost 3-0 to Ireland away, but it was 0-0 for quite a long time in that one. Andorra came close. Andorra 1, Switzerland 2. Did you see this one?
I saw the result. Yeah.
Lima came on in the 87th minute, and he's 43 years old. Again, this is a stat from Twitter, and it was just 6 days short of when he made his debut 26 years prior in Andorra's second ever game. Yeah. What an amazing stat that is. He's the nation's most capped player and top scorer, the ultimate legend of underdog football. Now, that is a tweet from Paul Watson that everyone will know, probably, that's watching. He does the Sweeper, is it the Sweeper podcast that they do? Where, always talking about sort of football stories.
Football,
stories of football from sort of lesser known regions and stuff, and they've always got amazing stories on that pod. So, but that's great stat, and not a bad result for Andorra there. But I think everyone that's watching this will know about the Moldova result. Moldova 3, Poland 2. Poland ranked 23rd in the world. Moldova 171st. Came back from 2 goals down. Milik and Lewandowski have you seen the highlights of this game, by the way?
I've not seen the highlights actually.
So Poland were in total control. By the way, the Moldovan that scored 2 of the goals, Ion, apologies about my pronunciation here, Ion Nikolowski, both of his goals, which were the first goal for Moldova and the second goal, identical almost in the way that Poland just gave the ball away in their half, like loose passes, and he picked it up and then basically solo runned and fired in a couple of really, really good low finishes. And then the 85th minute headed winner, mate, the scenes were insane. And that is up there with, I haven't got anything to compare it to hand now, but mate, that is up there with probably one of the biggest ever shocks in, I would say, UEFA international
I would definitely
competitive
say,
football.
I would say definitely in a qualifier for
It's amazing.
for a UEFA
Absolutely
team.
amazing.
Like the rankings, the rankings tell the story. To be honest, with how far apart these teams are, and what makes it bigger is that it was from 2 down. You know,
Yeah.
I think if they'd have won it 1-0, we've seen. Talking of Luxembourg, we've seen them draw games in the past like 1-1, but like they were 2-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
They were actually 2-0 down to a side ranked so many places above them at half time. And to turn it around is absolutely incredible. And it probably is the result of the international break so far.
Yeah, it is.
Just because of how unexpected it is. And all you can say really is congratulations to Moldova, because it's utterly incredible.
Yeah, they've had a good, and actually it put the win puts them above Poland in the qualification group so far. Poland got a game in hand, but they've won that game. They've drawn 2. They've only lost 1 of their 4 games, Moldova, so far. They've done incredibly well. They also got a 0-0 back in March. They got a 0-0 draw against the Czech Republic. So they're doing incredibly well. And this result, this result is just the result, mate. It's a good place to end this, I think, on what was the biggest result in this international window so far, ahead of the next batch of tournaments and summer bits and bobs that are going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got plenty going on. To be fair, there's lots of tournaments that trickle their way into July with SAF champs. There's a friendly match between some Conifer nations in the Chagos Islands and the Falklands.
There is.
Play each other on the 3rd of July. And then, of course, later on in July, there is the Women's World Cup as well, which we will probably do a prediction for, like we did with the World Cup, and then not much else because it's not technically kind of our remit in terms of stuff like the DNQ side of it. And then, of course, as we've already spoken about, plenty of football moving forward as well. Games in August into September, September Internationals, where we'll also see the return of the CONCACAF Nations League. So much fantastic stuff, and hopefully loads of interviews and other cool videos in between. But thank you for sticking with us. It's one of our longer form episodes, which we hope you enjoy. And yeah, as Ryan said, with regards to, I suppose we can call it merchandise, in terms of the mugs, in terms of other stuff that we've got planned, there should be plenty of stuff like that across the next few weeks, towards the end of July as well, kind of putting our ducks in a row, sorting out what we need to sort out, that kind of stuff. But as ever, you know, it's been a really good month of international football. We appreciate every single view that we have had. In fact, we've just hit 320,000 views on the channel across our lifetime, which is a random number.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah,
which is really cool. And I think that most of that generally is because of how good my outros are, so all that's left to say. Hello and welcome to DNQ Football, one of our longer form episodes, if we call it that, where we run through I'm just going to start again.